Leave a comment down below with your thought on this episode, and make sure with your thought, your singular thought. You're only allowed one. I get 3 pros and 3 cons and a score, but you guys only get one thought. That's not actually true. Roll that beautiful beat footage. I'm leaving. Bye. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge episode review. The quest to catch up continues. I do realize this is another late review, and I do apologize for that. However, I do feel kind of like I'm getting back in the groove of doing these, so hopefully I'll have the channel caught up soon. The past couple of videos have had kind of long, complicated lead-ins, so this week let's just get right to business with lucky number 13 for Dino SuperCharge, Recipe for Disaster. The episode starts with Keeper basically restating the explanation of the Dark Energem from the previous episode, but with some more details thrown in this time. It turns out that the Dark Energem is the only thing capable of crippling the other 10 Energems. It was sealed away inside a DeBoss box and hidden away in a planet called Sentai 6. Yeah, that's kind of an unsubtle reference, so don't make me get out that seriously counter again, Dino SuperCharge. I'll do it. Kendall has completed the data transmission to the Silver Ranger, which is all the Rangers can do right now. Over on Sledge 1, Wrench has been hard at work and is showing Heckle the results of his project. It's a nearly invincible monster called Fortress. Besides being very strong, Fortress has also been taught all of the Rangers' Megazord moves and counter moves for them. But perhaps best of all, Wrench has installed a cockpit inside the monster. So, when Fortress gets a dose of that tasty Magna Beam, Heckle can climb inside and control the battle from within. That's right, Wrench has made Heckle his own monster Megazord. But enough of that serious and interesting A-plot. We have semi-comedic B-plot to get to. A world-famous food critic, Catherine Allister, is visiting the Dinobite Cafe. For some reason. Seriously? Oh, no counter this week. I think the writers of the show just have a very weak concept of a museum cafe. It's not its own restaurant. It's not something that you go in for just for that. It's a tourist trap burger stand. Anyway, Chase knew that she was coming and has been working on a special dessert dish called pavlova, a New Zealand specialty. Funny enough, for this episode focusing on it so much being a New Zealand specialty, it actually has its origins in America and England, but New Zealand has claimed it as their own. For your information, it's kind of a light meringue cake with fruit on top. Unfortunately, Chase's attempts at the dish have had an unfortunate tendency to explode. His third try is ready when she orders a slice of it. By the way, she also orders a Bronto burger, but she never gets that. It holds together just long enough for her to get her face over it, and kaboom! She's of course not happy about this and promises the worst review she's ever written, which could get the place shut down. Again, a museum cafe that has a guaranteed rotating customer base. Alright, let me not get too Mr. Watkins here. Chase is baffled at how, when he's followed the recipe exactly 3 times, it keeps exploding. The other Rangers want to help, so they haul the baking goods down to Kendall's lab in order to get the measurements precisely correct. But Chase fumbles his eggs when he realizes that he doesn't have his Energem, and that he must have mixed it into the dough. When Tyler says they didn't find it when they cleaned up the restaurant, he realizes it must be in the Critic's bag and runs off to find her. Hey, welcome back to Earth, Singe. We really missed your Epcot Ball spaceship. You know, it turns out that thing is a little roomier than you might think, because this time there are 3 passengers. One is Singe, of course. Another is another general, a black and red bird monster named Doomwing. And the third is Lord Arcanon, their boss. As Heckle and his posse come out to confront them, Arcanon says that he was the one who hired Sledge, and Wrench confirms this. He says he's come to Earth to pay the bounties. I thought that was an interesting little detail to include. and claim the Sledge 1 and all of the monsters captured on it, including Heckle, who was also a bounty. The two of them have a tug-of-war, #TV tropes, which Arcanon wins. The damage to Heckle allows Snide to take over, and he escalates the battle by growing and getting into Fortress. However, Arcanon is not concerned. He very calmly turns to Doomwing and asks him to summon the T-Rex Zord. Okay, yeah, those of us older than the target audience of the show kinda saw this coming a mile away when the Silver Ranger asked for the data, but Arcanon can now control the Ranger's Zords. They've made Dino Chargers. As the Rangers watch in stunned disbelief, they also summon Plesio and Packy and form the Plesio Charge Megazord Pack-a-Rex formation. However, remember that Fortress has already trained against all of the Rangers' Megazords. It has an easy time with Pack-a-Rex formation and breaks it apart. Arcanon's crew then basically summons all of the other Zords except Titano to continue the battle. Meanwhile, Chase finds the Critic from the B-plot who agrees to let him search her bag if it means he'll leave her alone. He finally finds his Energem, but then some crossing beams from the Zord fight hit a building and some rubble falls down towards them. Chase saves the Critic, and in her gratitude she decides to give him a bit of advice, which is basically to remember something Albert Einstein said. Using the same ingredients in the same recipe is always going to lead to the same result. If this recipe won't work for Chase, he needs to try a different recipe, mix things up, use his Kiwi ingenuity. Chase thanks her for the advice and goes to find the other Rangers. Arcanon's crew summons the Core 6 duo of Megazords, Dino Charge Tristego and Terra Charge Pararaptor. The Rangers arrive on the scene and try to summon back their Zords, but it doesn't work. Fortress hasn't seen anything new, so he just knocks down the two Megazords. Doomwing wants to try the Titano Zord, however, Arcanon short-sightedly gives up on this plan. In his mind, the chargers that Doomwing made are not strong enough. He knocks the Titano Charger out of Doomwing's hand and says that he has a new plan. The Rangers find the dropped Titano Charger, which tips them off to the fact that the bad guys were controlling their Zords via Dino Chargers that they had made. Seeing that their Zords are empty, the Rangers morph, Tyler goes superdrive, and they mount up. After an in-cockpit catchphrase, they take on Fortress, but run into the exact same problem that Arcanon was. Chase connects the A-plot and the B-plot and realizes what they need to do is feed Fortress some of his exploding pavlova. No, wait, that's not it. What they need to do is use some of that Kiwi ingenuity. If Fortress knows all of their combos and attacks, then what they need is a new combo. And, oh man, guys, it's the funniest thing. Guess what Kendall's been doing? Of course she's been working on a new combination, but she needs a little more time. So the Rangers summon the Titano Charge Megazord and hold off Fortress for a little bit longer, and then Kendall shows up with news of this new combination being complete. The Dino Charge Ultra Zord. Oh man, guys. Ultra Zords. You know I love them. Alright, Kendall, so how many Zords does this thing combine? I mean, all of them, right? All of them combined? Right? 6. This Ultra Zord formation combines 6 Zords. The first 5 and Titano. Limited by the Sentai footage, yes I know, but that doesn't mean they needed to call it an Ultra Zord. Anyway, Heckle manages to take back over and he wants this particular fight to himself. But, considering the fact that Fortress doesn't know anything about this combination, and the fact that it's debuting this week, this fight doesn't take long. The Ultra Zord uses a Care Bear Stare finisher, Ultra Plasma Final Blast, to destroy Fortress and eject Heckle. Heckle calls out for his lackeys, but only Arcanon and his friends come. They mess with Heckle a little bit and then haul him away. Meanwhile, back in the lab, the Rangers put the pieces together. The only one besides them with their Zord data is the Silver Ranger. The Silver Energem would never choose an evil person, and also would not allow its chosen Ranger to do something evil like giving that kind of data away, So, obviously, the Silver Ranger has been captured and the Rangers need to save him. Which, I mean, of course, the Rangers are going to get right on, but first, they're going to have to handle this lunch rush. Surprise, surprise, the Critic has come back to the cafe to give Chase a second chance. He has made a true tribute to New Zealand with this pavlova, using his grandmother's recipe instead. And this recipe seems to contain the natural explosiveness of pavlova by having a second layer on top. She tries it and tells him that he'd better make another one. And plenty more, because when people read her review, this place is going to get a ton more business. Back over on Sledge 1, Heckle is thrown back into solitary confinement, and Arcanon takes control. Singe says that Heckle is still dangerous and wants to destroy him, but Arcanon says that he'll behave once he realizes that he has this DeBoss-themed box, which has sort of a dark glow coming out of it. He also promises that none of the Rangers are going to survive. You know, last time I kind of angered my way past that whole shovel weirdness thing, so I think we're back to normal. So, let's dig up some super fossils. You know what, might as well roll with it at this point. Go Blazers! Episode 13, Recipe for Disaster. Pros, much more focus on the main plot, subplot tied in nicely, and a new Zord formation. Cons, subplot felt unnecessary, Fortress had a weird ability, and that is not an Ultra Zord. Sometimes when an episode feels average, it is average. Recipe for Disaster gets 3 super fossils out of 5. This story just felt a lot more like a final arc episode. Arcanon does kind of come in as a final villain at the end that we don't know anything about, but here's the thing. Sledge only ever was a bounty hunter, so it's clear that somebody hired him. And Heckle was one of the bountees, so it's clear that he wasn't the main man in charge. This story was set up very well to have somebody waiting in the wings. We do get an impact on the story from that strangeness with the Silver Ranger last week, and the result that the Rangers had to figure out on their own pushes the story forward. The Silver Ranger is in trouble, and now the Rangers need to go and rescue him from whoever's holding him? I guess Arcanon and his crew are on Earth now. Did they bring the Silver Ranger with them? And while I wasn't a big fan of the subplot, as I said, it did give Chase kind of a light bulb moment. Most times on Power Rangers, we see something the Rangers learned while in battle affecting their real lives. It's not quite as often that we see something that they learned in their real lives impacting the fight as Rangers. And we finally have the Dino Charge Ultra Zord. Funny enough, it feels like they could have introduced this earlier, so it was actually showing some restraint to hold it back for this part of the season. I like the look of the new formation, especially the chest plate on it that has all of the Dino logos on it. However, as we whip over into the cons, we will segue by staying on the Dino Charge Ultra Zord, because that is not an Ultra Zord. Listen, I get that the original Ultra Zord had 7 Zords, only one more than this one, but it was everything they had. To me, the Ultra Zord is the final formation, throw together all the Zords, we need everything we have formation. Yes, this was the final formation from the Sentai footage. However, to me, the final formation does not necessarily have to be an Ultra Zord. One thing I found kind of weird about this episode is how we had 2 villain factions doing basically different things with the same information. If you think about it, Fortress really also had all of the data on the Rangers, Zords, and Megazords. It just used that data to attack the Zords, while Arcanon used it to steal the Zords. Which makes it kind of weird that Fortress had just studied the battle footage. To me, it would have made a lot more sense if Wrench had managed to intercept the transmission to the Silver Ranger and gotten the data that way. I know the show has done the whole intercepted transmission thing before, and Kendall even said that she had secured their signal. But it had been a while since they'd done that, maybe Wrench could figure out the encryption, and to me it just made more sense than Fortress watching some tapes. And with that small compliment that I paid to the subplot, I really pretty much didn't like it. It seems like it was just played for the exploding cake gag, and you guys know how I feel about silly slapstick humor. I get that somebody needed to tell Chase, try something different, but there just wasn't enough plot to it otherwise. I mean, heck, dedicate that time to the main part of the episode and just have Kendall say, hey, I've been working on Yobble Dobble Gerbity Glocks. But in the end, this wasn't a bad episode. It was a nice little final arc story that served to push the plot forward. Let's see how they keep pushing the plot forward in episode 14, Silver Secret. Tyler joins Shelby in auditioning for an open spot on the popular New Zealand band, the NZ Boys. Meanwhile, an ally arrives, but not before the Rangers suspect he has an ulterior motive. Silver Secret. A new ally appears, and the Rangers are suspicious of him at first. Wonder who that's gonna be. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching another Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge episode review. Make sure to like the video by clicking that like button right down below. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this episode, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for all of my Power Rangers reviews and other fun stuff. Until next time, may the power protect you. Roll that beautiful blooper footage. I don't know what that means. So this week, let's just get right to business with lucky number 13. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino SuperCharge hiatus video. The episode starts with Anyway, Chase had the heads up that she was coming and has been working on a dessert recipe called pavlova. Farts. The Rangers arrive on the scene and try to summon back their Megazord. After an in-cockpit catchphrase, they take on Fortress and run into the exact same problem that Arcanon... name! I keep wanting to call him Arcanon. It's Arcanon. Damn it. The Rangers find the dropped Titanocharger, which tips them off to... Heckle calls out for his lackeys. Singe says that Heckle is dangerous and he wants to destroy him. But Arcanon says that Heckle will behave. We do get a result of the strange... But it has been a while since they've used that trick, and I just feel like it makes a lot more sense than Wrench... not Wrench, Fortress. Which, bling...